At some point, saving money stops being the goal and being done becomes the goal.
And we're not cutting back, we're cutting loose.
Well, this is Tav, and she's reached the age where she says, why are we still paying for this?
And this is Jim, who finally realized that just because we can pay for something doesn't mean it deserves our money.
Right. And
together we're Unretired AF. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Unretired AF podcast, the podcast created especially for the over 60 rabble-rouser crowd.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about the things we're done paying for. Things we kept paying for out of habit.
Well, one of the things we kept paying out of habit are like subscription fees for things that you've either forgotten about or just, or we're just too lazy to cancel.
Yeah.
Especially if they're low, really low amounts.
Right. Right. Well, low amounts monthly, but they all add up.
I know. Oh, I am definitely not trying to act like holier than thou on this one because I am guilty.
Right. How about some of the services we signed up for years ago?
Right.
And have never corrected them.
Right.
More to come on that.
Right. Well, and convenience fees. I mean, I think that we've just kind of gotten used to paying convenience fees, but we didn't have convenience fees in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 90s. No. I mean, this is just another way that they can get us, death by a thousand cuts with these convenience fees. So, I mean, some things you can avoid.
Yeah.
But some things you can't.
Right. How about the peace of mind add-ons that we've never used?
Oh, we have a few of those.
Yeah. That's just that's crazy stuff.
Like I think you said, like the AAA. I don't even drive much anymore. There's no reason to have both of us because we used to drive a lot. I mean, I used to drive a lot.
Right.
And it was important to have it, but I don't get out of the house, and when I do, you'd mainly drive me around.
I know, and I'm not even getting AAA anymore because our insurance covers everything. So there's no need to even do that.
I gotcha. So there's no benefit at all in it.
Well, there's a benefit for them, but not for us.
Well, and another one that's like one of those peace of mind add-ons. I think people don't understand, but we do because we were in the insurance industry. But those home warranties.
Ooh.
I mean, the home warranties, they sell it as this peace of mind, but it isn't. I mean, honestly, it's just a referral network. That's all it is. I mean, you have something happen with, let's say you have a pipe, let's say your water heater, breaks, whatever, then they send out their plumber. And like my dad had that, and they changed out the water heater for free. But then they started charging him like $200. I'm not even shitting you. $200 for the pan.
Right.
That was $17 at Home Depot. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'll just go and get the pan. No, if you're going to use the service, it's required that we do that. And so at the end, his free water heater, although it was cheaper than if he had, had done it himself, he ended up paying like $300 for everything. But we were there to protect him.
Right.
Because what happens is then you've got the plumber, he's calling the mitigation company to come clean up the water if it made a mess everywhere. And then the mitigation company pays him a kickback.
Yeah.
And so the plumbers don't mind getting in the home warranty company because I don't think the home warranty companies pay him anything.
No.
I think they're all just getting kickbacks from the various general contractors and mitigation companies that they are referring to the job, and it's not always the best people. Jim and I have seen it. It's not always the best or most qualified that they're sending out. They're sending out the one that pays the plumber the biggest kickback.
Well, one of the biggest scams too in all of that is like for instance on an air conditioner. The first thing they're going to ask you is, what is the history of this air conditioner? And you're going to say, I don't know. We just bought the house. And they're going to say, we know, we're not going to cover it. And they want...
Based on what? Like, why would they not cover it on the
Well,
home warranty?
because they don't know when the last thing was done on it. And especially if it's compressor failure.
Is that new? Because I've never heard of them doing that.
Yeah, it's been going on a long time.
Wow.
And I guess maybe it's...
Because I know somebody that's got 2 air conditioners from the home warranty company.
Well, maybe if it was...
But it was a while ago.
If it was destroyed by hail or destroyed by something other than a component. Is that fair?
Yeah. I don't know. Wow. I didn't know that.
It's been a problem.
Wow.
It's been a problem.
And that's probably not how it's supposed to work.
No,
and
probably
if you
not.
fight back, I mean, it's just like the insurance companies.
Right.
They do things that aren't according to the contract all the time, and if you fight back, you can often get what you need.
Yeah.
Or what you're supposed to get.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Well, and also this one is bad for me. It's paying for things back to, things we kept paying for out of habit, paying for things that we were too lazy to cancel. And you know what? It's embarrassing, but I will admit it. There's things I've paid for that because I was too lazy to cancel it. Not necessarily it was too lazy, but I would look at it and I would see, oh, there's a $2.99 charge for, some cloud storage or something that I just really didn't want anymore. And I think in my mind, oh, as I'm out and I see it, when I'm checking my bank, statement on my app, and I'm like, oh, I'll cancel that before it hits again. And then I forget. So it's not like I'm doing it on purpose, like,
right.
but I forget. And then it's like, oh, crap. Every time I've seen it hit, that's happened to me.
Yeah. How about this one where the loyalty pricing
Right.
that really wasn't a bargain.
No.
So who is one of the biggest loyalty industries is the airline industry.
Oh, right. Right.
So if you fly with us, we give you frequent flyer miles.
Right.
Well, half the time, people won't check if there's another airline that's cheaper because...
Right. Or even if it is.
They're going after those miles.
Right.
And they're all well and good. I mean, it's great, but a lot of times that's not the best value.
No, it isn't.
By any means.
No. Well, and I think sometimes people are using that when they're using the company card because they,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I think a lot of companies got smart about though, and they want to keep those points
Right.
because they they don't want to just let the employee. Why should they? If they're paying for the flight, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you ever done anything? Have you ever paid for anything out of habit?
So
let's do a tell-all, Mr. Jim. Now,
when at our other house before we downsized, we had a large backyard, we had a pool, and I had hired a company to come in and spray for mosquitoes, and they did it 4 times a year, once a quarter, and I think it was like $70 a pop. And yes, I let that go on for 2 quarters without realizing that
it was an auto pay.
Yeah, it was auto pay. Wow. And I'm sure the new owners appreciated it, but
they didn't have any mosquito trouble.
Yeah. They didn't have any mosquitoes.
Gosh. But you know what? It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. I mean, I am embarrassed to say, but I will tell you, in the spirit of transparency, that when we moved and when we downsized, it's been 6 years ago, I had a Planet Fitness membership, which was $10 a month. And I have continued with that for 6 years. And I've gone like 2 or 3 times in that time, which the last time I went was probably 2 or 3 years ago since I've gone. You think it's longer than that?
Yeah,
No.
I think it was pre-COVID. I don't think you've been after COVID.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because when we moved, it was in the middle of COVID.
Okay.
And I switched because the $10 membership with them is only location specific, so I had to go and change it to the new one over here. And I went a few times.
Okay.
I went like 2 or 3 times, but the problem is they keep the price so like reasonable, $10, So you won't. So you don't. Your tendency is not to cancel, because if you want to go back, you have to pay the initiation fee.
Right.
So yes, I'm a dumbass. Let me know in the comments if if you've done anything similar, or if you just want to make fun. That's fine too.
Right. Exactly.
I think many of us have done that kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah. And I'm sure my dumbass will continue. Things that no longer earn their place. So let's talk a little about premium versions of things with no real benefits. Now, as we all know, you can go to any appliance store. Heck, you can go to Home Depot and Lowe's, and you can look at 3 different grades of a refrigerator.
By the same company.
By the same company.
Right.
Refrigerator, any appliance you pick.
Right.
They all do the same thing.
Right.
You know,
For the most part, right.
For the most part. Now, it seems like the higher you go, the more bells and whistles it has, but that's also the more things that can go wrong.
Right.
I'm very simplistic on that stuff. I want it to be as simple as I can, because that generally means that it'll work the longest.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing with mattresses.
Right.
Now, I'll admit that I like a good mattress, but if it's Billy Bob's Mattress Company versus one of the other big names, and Billy Bob's is going to be as comfortable as the other name, sometimes you got to just pick the cheaper one.
Yeah, but sometimes the name brand ones have different versions.
They do. They do.
They'll have
They
a premium one that's maybe twice as much as their standard version.
That's
right?
true. Yeah. But, I mean, for that, with me, it's all about comfort.
Yeah.
It's all about comfort.
Yeah.
So there's anything you want to pick, from Chevrolets to Fords to cars to boats. They're all, every single one of them have some sort of premium version of it.
Well, and yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's one area where I don't know. I mean, I guess we have to just look at our priorities. Like every car line has their premium line.
Sure.
Every cruise line has not every, but many of the cruise lines have a premium line. Like, Royal Caribbean has Celebrity. I forget the others, but a lot of them have a premium line.
Yeah. So
if people want to have a little bit better, more upgraded experience, it's there. And sometimes it's worth it, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it just depends on your own priorities.
Right.
Well, and the next thing is memberships that stopped matching our lifestyle. And those are things like we talked about before, like the AAA membership. Right. That doesn't really work with our lifestyle because we're not driving. I'm not driving as much as I used to. Or things like, when you pay for the memberships with the airlines to be able to use the lounges and stuff if you travel. I mean, Jim and I traveled a lot, and those were really handy. But there's no way I would pay for that now because our lifestyle isn't like that anymore. We don't travel as much as we used to.
And and you mentioned your gym membership.
Right, right.
There's a big difference in cost to have a national account versus a local account.
Right,
and
right.
It's probably $20 or $30 a month difference.
Right. So if you're traveling a lot, and we had that, we had the premium membership so that we could go to anyone, anywhere, but we don't have that now because we aren't traveling anymore. Right. It costs
more.
So that's a way to save money. We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. So let's talk about some costs that bring stress instead of relief.
Right.
So go ahead. Do you have any that you can talk about?
Well, I mean, that's the thing we were just talking about. I'll bring up this other thing. If you're paying for, like when I had my business, I paid for subscription legal services.
Right.
And that was great. I mean, I used it all the time because I was dealing with contracts all the time. Yeah. And so that was a lot of sense of relief for me.
Right.
Where then it just became stressful to pay it when I didn't have my business anymore. I just didn't need it. So I
Yeah.
think it's just looking at those kinds of things
Exactly.
and deciding, like the AAA, do we need that? You know,
Right.
it meant to bring relief,
Yeah.
but the cost of it is just doesn't make sense. Didn't
Yeah.
make sense anymore.
And do you need both a Sam's and a Costco membership?
Right. Right.
You know, those kind of things.
Right.
Do you need any of them? If it's just two of you living at home, do you need to buy in bulk now?
Well, and some of the things like, you know, like let's say you paid for concierge service. I know a lot of medical companies now allow you to pay for concierge service so you can get in quicker,
Right.
or you can have a longer appointment. You can pay for that too. And let's say, you know, you were going through something and you needed that and it was bringing a sense of relief, but you don't need it. You're not going anymore, or you have more time now than when you worked. So you can sit at the, I'm not saying that's great, but you know, you have to decide if it's worth it to you to pay for that concierge service now when you have a little bit more time.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, one of our local car washes, I was a knucklehead and bought the monthly service
Right.
that then rolls over.
Right.
Well, then you look back and, you know, you're like, I've been there one time in the last 4 months.
Right. Well, and that's why they do it at an inexpensive price,
Sure.
so that you don't cancel it because I'll use it, I'll
Right.
use it, and you don't end up using it. So that's the
Yep.
kind of stuff that's no longer earning its place in our life. And you know what? If this has happened to you too, don't feel like a dumbass. I mean, we've all been there. We've all, you know, done stuff. We've all paid for stuff that we aren't using anymore, or didn't make sense in our life. And, you know, when we have a little bit more time, it's just, you know, sit down, look at that stuff, and
Yeah.
give it the old heave-ho.
Give it the old heave-ho. Absolutely. You know, one thing, and I'm curious about this, if you have it, because I hear it on the radio all the time. Do any of you guys, have you ever bought one of these car engine warranty?
Oh, right. I see that. I hear that too.
All the time. I hear it all the time. They seem very, very expensive, but do they work?
Right.
Do they pay?
Right. If you blow the head on your
Yeah, I'd be curious if
head
any of
gasket,
you.
is it going to fix it? And, you know,
I'd be
or
curious if
crack
any
the
of
block. Are
yeah.
they going to replace your engine?
Right. If you have any experience, let me know on that.
Right.
Inquiring minds would like to know.
Right. Well, and another thing too, in things that no longer earn their place are, and this happens, you know, when we quit working, we can look at the things that we've outsourced for other people to do.
Right.
Like, let's say, you know, because you were working, you were busy, you were taking your car to have the oil changed, or you were paying somebody to clean your pool or do your, you know, yard work, or housekeeping, your house, or even laundry, or any of those kinds of things, that now you've got the time and you sort of enjoy doing it, and you'd rather do it yourself and save the money and because you like doing it, maybe.
Everything except changing the oil. Used oil's too hard to get rid of. It's just easier to go someplace and get it done.
Yeah. Well, and cars are different. I mean, cars, it used to be everybody worked on their car, and now, you know, and I think they created products because people worked on their own cars, and now they don't.
Right.
So it's very inconvenient. To do car stuff.
It is.
You know.
It really is.
It's not exactly outsourcing in the way that we're talking about now, but I see a lot of people buying those meal preparation delivery services like HelloFresh. We did it.
Yeah, we did.
Where, you know, they send you all the ingredients for the meal and you make it, and it's very convenient. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to plan it. But it's not cheap to do those. Those are expensive. And so that's the kind of thing that, you know, something you might have outsourced, grocery shopping, and you know, because that's, you don't have to shop. They include everything, a recipe and everything. You know, so that may be something that you outsourced because you didn't have that much time to do those things, but you wanted to eat at home and cook, that you can do now. Yeah. And you know that you might not want to pay. Plus, I think for a lot of people, at least I found for me, and we tried 3 or 4 of those services when I was working, and I felt like the recipes were a little too complicated for coming home from a a long day of work.
Oh yeah, some of them said what you could do it in 30 minutes, and
I was still working on it in an hour. And I'm an
Oh, yeah.
experienced cook. I'm not a novice in the kitchen. And so some of the things were a little too complicated,
Yeah.
I think, for a work night.
I agree.
But the concept was okay.
And for somebody that doesn't have the experience like you do to know how to do
They would
things.
be having a tough time
Yeah.
because there were a lot of things where they would just say a method to do something, and if you didn't know what that method was, you're
Yeah.
going to be making some funny food because you wouldn't know what to do. So anyway, find the things that no longer earn their place in your home and get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is one of those things. This is the kind of stuff people, they don't always feel comfortable talking about.
Right.
And
right.
We are the outlet that you can.
Well, and that's why we also created the Unretired AF Rebels community. It's at unretiredafrebels.com. And it's kind of just a no-pressure place to compare notes with other people our age, to ask questions, and to really just find your people, find your tribe. And it's no pressure. Like, we have a book club. We don't care if you read the book or not. We just want to talk. We just want to, we just all just want to talk.
Right.
Jim has started one called The Workshop. You want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the workshop's going to be about people in our community that have experience, people that don't, people that want to talk about potential projects, what to expect.
Problems.
People that are having problems in a project, asking for advice. It is going to be a very free form.
Yeah.
I am not the director by any means on any of this. I don't want to be the Jim the answer man on it.
Right.
We just want to have a community where people can talk about whatever in the heck they want to talk about.
Exactly.
This is going to be kind of more task-oriented, building-oriented, car stuff, boat stuff.
It's going to be whatever people come with, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
It's called The Workshop, and it's just about working out problems together.
Yep.
Nobody's the expert. It's not like
Nope.
don't come, expecting expert advice because nobody's an expert. Everybody's it's a knowledge sharing.
Yeah.
So we'd love it if you're interested. We'd love it if you were interested. Come and join us at unretiredafrebels.com, and we do have a 7-day free trial membership.
Absolutely.
We'd love to see you there.
Thank you. What replacing those costs gave us. Okay, so replacing those costs has given us a lot more flexibility and a lot less guilt.
Yeah. Well, guilt for spending money on dumb shit, right?
Right, exactly.
We've all done it. I mean, but when we can have fewer bills, of course, we're going to have less mental stress because it's very stressing.
Yeah, it is. And one of our things is we're trying to get our spending around what we're spending now,
right?
Not the past,
right?
Which is a big deal, very big deal.
Well, and I think if you just really look at everything and say no, that can really give you a lot of confidence when when you go through and you trim these things off and you reclaim some of your money. But that it wasn't even working for you.
Right.
Right. And that's something, I mean, we're guilty of it too. We're not any kind of financial experts.
No.
We're not trying to set ourselves up like we are. I mean, but I think we've all got to just, I think, well, not all of us, but, I think it's important to cut out the things that make no difference in our life anyway.
Well, if nothing else, it's going to give us room to choose what matters.
Yeah.
And
you got to prioritize.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Well, and it also gives us a sense of control over our life. When you have control over your money, you feel more control over your life, and you don't have this sense of obligation.
Right.
Anymore. So I think that's right there. Getting that sense of control back is really, really valuable.
Absolutely.
Well, and now your favorite Friday segment of the week.
Grump Ass of the Week. Grump Ass of the Week.
This flexibility thing you're promoting is reckless. Some of us worked very hard to be miserable, and we don't appreciate you making that optional.
Oh, man. The takeaway.
Well, the takeaway from this episode is that we absolutely are not talking about being cheap.
No.
We're not trying to be cheap.
No. This is all about being intentional.
Yeah.
And getting your current life
Right.
in line and leaving the past behind.
Right. Well, and your priorities are allowed to change as the seasons of your life change. And that's what Jim and I are finding for ourselves. It's like, as our life has changed a lot since we downsized 6 years ago, and then just various other things. And now with our move coming up, it's like, we're really focused on this topic right now because it's affecting us personally. We're really trying to everything has to earn its place right now.
Right.
Right.
Right. And habit, as much as it's been sometimes for me, habit is not a reason to keep paying.
Right.
It's just not.
Right. Right.
It's sometimes easier, but it's not a reason.
Right. Exactly. And honestly, I mean, we just have to get a little bit, more disciplined. And,
We do.
And I think making that transition, because we haven't retired. I have retired from my job I did. Jim is still working. And so, we're short, one income now. And so, the things that I didn't even really consider, looking at the $2.99 cloud storage or the $5.
Right.
It's like I'm looking at that stuff, and it really, when you have income coming in that is more than enough, to cover everything, you're not so, focused on those things.
Right.
But I think once, and we're kind of doing stair-step retirement in a way, because I've just transitioned from doing that to doing this. Which is probably about a 99.9% cut in pay. So, which is great. We're having a really fun time learning new stuff and doing something new. But we've had to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
We had to make some financial adjustments. So, like you said, having that habit isn't a reason to keep paying, even though we did it. And I think that there is value in that there's value in that financial freedom, just knowing what your expenses are, knowing that you're not paying for anything that you don't want to be paying for, and each of us has to decide what that is for ourselves. There is no one way or one. We're not trying to say that what we're doing is what everybody should do, but I think everybody should at least be cognizant and aware and paying for things intentionally.
Yeah, and just know that you being done with something, that is a decision.
Yeah.
And it can be...
And we're done with the bullshit.
Right, we're done with the bullshit.
Done with it.
Yeah, so if you're fighting this stuff too, our Unretired AF Rebels community is linked below.
No pressure at all. Just good people having honest conversations, and you can find us at unretiredafrebels.com right here.
So thank you to our members, thank you to our subscribers, and thank you to our viewers. We appreciate each and every one of you. You are what keep us going on this.
Yep.
We're still having fun. This is episode 164.
164.
And we're still going. So if you have any comments on we're done paying for this bullshit too, let us know. We'd love to hear your stories.
We would. Yep. Well, we're not slowing down.
And neither should you.
And together we're Unretired AF.